friends. This is Lisa from Live and Let Stamp, and today I'm going to show you how I did the background of this card using the blending brush. These blending brushes are amazing. I can't even begin to tell you how soft that is, how many bristles there are. It's amazing. These come in a set of 3. And you don't need more than 3. You don't need one for every color. I use one for reds and pinks and purples, as you can see. It gets a little stained, but they wash out really nicely. This one I use basically for greens or browns, and this is the one I use for blues. And this is the one I'm gonna be using to show you how I use the blending brushes to create the basic background of this card. I used 3 colors of blue to try to give it a little bit of dimension. And my vision is it's lighter in the center, like you were scuba diving, which I've never done, but I've seen it on TV. And you're shining a light. So it looks brighter in the center than it would around the edges. So that was kind of my mindset as I started doing this background. So I started with the lightest color, the Tahitian Tide, one of the ink colors. Currently, and all you do is you're just gonna dab this on, dab it off a little bit. And the reason you want to dab it off a little bit is because if you don't, you're gonna get this really sharp bit of color that might not look so nice. And then I'm just gonna use a circular motion and go from the outside and in a circle. Get a little bit more. And you take it nice and slow so you don't get too much on. You can always stop and add more. You cannot take it away. Just gonna touch that inside part a bit so it has a little bit of the blue color, but it's already a little darker around the outside. Okay, now I'm gonna go to my next darkest color, which is the Azure Afternoon, one of the new colors. So a bit of a darker blue. I'm not gonna change brushes. I'm just gonna kind of take this one and just wipe it on this piece of copy paper. Just, you know, get off all of that Tahitian Tide so the inks don't mix on the ink pad. And I'm gonna, now you see this one's definitely darker. Let me do that where you can see. Definitely a darker shade here. So I wanna take it easy until I know what it's gonna look like. Okay, you can see it darkening up around the edges. Now I'm doing this on a sheet of cardstock that is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So I just quartered a sheet. And then I'm gonna trim the edges off. So on these edges that maybe are looking a little too dark, that can get trimmed off to make it the right size for the front of the card. Look, try to get it fairly even all the way around. Okay. Maybe a little bit more there. Okay. And now my last and darkest color. This is another one of the end colors. This is Starry Sky, which looks like it's going to be a dark blue, but it's actually more of a dark bluish purple. I'm gonna wipe this off to get as much of that Azure Afternoon off as I can. There's certainly not going to be enough to damage this dark ink pad. That's why it's another reason that's good to go from dark to light. So you see that's a lot more purple. It's a lot darker. So I want to be really careful with this one because it's going to be a lot darker. But look how pretty that little bit of purple goes. And on the finished card, it doesn't really look that purplish like it looks there, but it is. And that's why these are called blending brushes, because you can blend the colors so nicely. Beautiful, really pretty. I think I got that one a little more purplish, but that's okay. Or I can go back over it with more of the blue. Maybe go back with the Tahitian Tide. Definitely want to wipe this one down. But you can see there's almost nothing there. Tahitian Tide. It's fun to experiment, make different shades, different blends. Beautiful. There. And now I'm ready to do my stamping and adding my die cuts to make the finished card. Here's the blending brush before I run it underwater. And here it is after. And it's very wet, so I'm just going to dry it off a bit with this paper towel. I won't be able to use it for a little bit unless I wanted, it to be wet, but I just let it sit out for about 24 hours and it'll be nice and dry again. And there it is. Love the blending brushes. Another use of the blending brushes is to go directly on the stamp. So for my tropical fish, again, using Beauty of the Deep, I wanted them to be multicolored. So these fish are done with crushed curry and pumpkin pie, and I'll show you how I did that. So these are the smaller, these are new, of the blending brushes, and I'm going to use one for the orange and one for the yellow. Open up my pumpkin pie and my crushed curry. I keep them straight. So I wanted the nose of the fish to be orange and the back part of the fish to be the gold color. So this is the nose of the fish and I wanted that to be orange. So I'm just going to get some ink there and I'm not going to dab it off because I want that ink to go right on this fishy's nose. And then the crushed curry, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to put that right there, kind of blend that in. And then I'm going to stamp. Orange in the front, gold in the back. one more time. Okay, orange and gold. And stamp. Simple as that, and fun to do.